Episode of the Everblack Podcast is brought to you by Death Wish Hot Rods and Customs. Check out their Instagram for all their new t-shirts, caps, beanies, cups, and the all-new Atomic Death lineup. The lot, and it just so happens I was chatting to you. There you go.
Love that band. Love that band.
I know there is a connection there.
There is.
I know.
There is.
Fucking wish they'd tour, eh? I know.
Wish anyone would tour, bro.
I know, but I mean, there's many. This is from many years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's like talking about that. Here, I've got to show you something real quick before we really get going.
Do it, bro.
Check this out. From 1997.
The Fish album, mate. That's from is that from the Omega 3 tour?
Mate, Omega 3. But yeah, look, still signed.
Oh, wow. Awesome,
1997, when I was a little grom.
That's so cool, man.
And you guys signed it in Brisbane City when you did an in-store there. And I've had it ever since.
That's a classic, bro. Is it silver? It's not grey, is it?
No, it's silver. And that's why I haven't
That's awesome, man.
I love
that. And that's probably why we didn't make any money on that tour on merch.
I spent all
like, we're making it silver. It's going to cost you. We're making it silver.
Mate, have you ever done the glow in the dark thing? That's always fun.
Not yet, but yeah, that's got to be on the cards. Especially now I've got young kids. They'll love that shit.
Oh, man, it's the best. The best. It is the best. Well, John, it's been a little while since I've seen you, man. Last time we were hanging out with Chippy at Hotter Than Hell many
that's right.
long time ago, and it feels like it's been forever. That was the last good times before it all went crazy.
It all went crazy, man. Yeah, man. It's like, time seems different now, doesn't it? It's like, honestly, it's just that being in Melbourne. I mean, we went through that big lockdown, which actually ended up being where I finally got 6 worth of Shihad writing, like music, and went, I finally know what to say now. So it took me 6 years to get to that point. And the lockdown was my excuse to finally not put it off anymore. And lucky from Cam from Body Jar, who was on that Hotter Than Hell tour, actually, right. Said, you can use the basement of my skateboard shop. And I was like, sweet, put the kids, and I think it was within the 5 kilometer radius around my house.
Yeah.
Put the kids in bed, see you, say bye to my wife, and then just cruise to this skateboard store and just blast this really heavy music and just scream out 4 years of frustration of Bolsonaro and Trump and Brexit and the Melbourne, Australia being on fire for 3 months before the lockdown happened, and just going, oh, I can't. For me, I just needed to hear a heavy record that reminded me I was not going insane. That was literally it. That's all it was. So I need to hear music that says, yeah, you aren't going insane. This is fucked up. Basically, that was it. Yeah.
And here it is, man. It's I've heard it, and dude, this thing is a fucking beast. It's angry, and it feels like it's definitely like a continuation of FVEY, like
without a doubt.
It's like a sequel, but it's got a little bit more teeth and more anger to it, I guess, more bite.
And luckily for us, I think we met Adam Spark. I mean, that's another thing that came out of the lockdown. It's like we initially were going, this should be awesome if we went to Chicago and got Steve Albini to finally record Tom's drums, because I've always liked the way he does drums.
Yeah.
I know everyone's got a horror story after they work with him, but I want to have my own horror story about it. And I was thinking, yeah, let's do it. And then that was off the table. No traveling outside of Australia. It's like, who records heavy music in Australia? And someone said, what about Adam Spark from Birds Tokyo? It's like, now I've met him. I haven't really listened to Birds at that point, but I knew that Kenny from Carnival sang in the band. And I knew Kenny pretty well. And I had met Adam once, and he was a lovely guy, but I didn't know what that means about his production skills, But after our first talk, I sent him a bunch of demos, and he went, I love it. It's like these huge monolithic Rubik's Cube riff movements, sort of grinding against each other. And he just told me the story about he saw Shihad live at a big day out in Perth, when he was young, and said, I've never heard a Shihad record that sounded like that same feeling of what it was like to stand in front of those speakers. So let's give it a go on this one. And I think personally, he smashed it out of the park sonically. It's like so big sounding, it's ridiculous. He was incredible. Yeah.
Makes my car window shake, which was good.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I cranked it up and I was like, this is sick. But in regards to like the concept behind it and everything happening, what's the statue on the front? Is that Captain Cook?
That's Captain Cook from a statue in Victoria. Basically, okay, so what happened also during the lockdown was just a bit of background on me. My best mate, who I ended up marrying, is a woman who's a Sudanese national. Now, I didn't plan on meeting a Sudanese national, and her being my best mate. That's just what happened. And then we had 2 kids. So 2 different worlds, beautiful kids, love them immensely, but they're biracial. So they're going to be facing different things than either me or Dana facing. And during that, them being young, I didn't even think about it. Oh, right. They are going to have to face things that I don't have to face as a white male. And then, images of people carrying tiki torches, in America, modern day American streets going, the Jews will not replace us. And then having, 2 days later, the American president going, oh, there's some fine people on that side. It's like, man, this bode well for the future of the world that my kids are going to be moving into. Then in the middle of lockdown, George Floyd gets murdered by that cop. And then someone films the whole thing. And then I naively, as a white man, see the footage of white and black people protesting on the streets together. And I turn to my wife one night and go, isn't it great how you're seeing white people finally protesting with black people? And she just turns around and goes, you think after hundreds of years of like treating people differently based on their race, you think that's enough? That's not enough. It's like, I've had to, she just turned to me and said, I've had to like be overly nice around in a white space so that everyone feels comfortable around me. I've had to grip my teeth when someone says something casually racist just because I didn't want to rock the boat. And it's time for you guys to do some work, And it was like, because she just went, I'm exhausted. And it actually brought that guy getting caught actually brought up a whole lot of trauma for her. So it was like, I had at the age of 49, had this epiphany moment, because I was just like, I was just walking around going, I'm a musician. My friends are like, Māori, Pacific Islander. I'm cool. I don't see color. But I just realized, I have the privilege of not seeing color, because I'm a white man in a society that's built for me to succeed. So I know there's going to be people out there who listen to, who see that album cover and go, hold on, that's one of my heroes. It's just like, no, we've got to, I realize not everyone married a Sudanese person who has biracial children and therefore has that opportunity to go, oh, right, I'm seeing it from a different perspective. But if I can help illuminate that perspective with the music that I'm making, because I think, not only have we seen the rise of fascism and this and then we've also got like climate change hanging over our heads, right? And we've also got income inequality just going through the roof. We've got gender inequality to deal with, racial inequality to deal with. We cannot do this if we're all divided. We just can't do it. So we need to have a realistic conversation about the world we live in, the societies we live in. How do we get here? How do we move forward? And that's basically what this record's sort of proposing. It's only as angry as it is. It's because I fucking love human beings and I see the potential for good in human beings. And I like to assume the best in human beings. Unfortunately, there's an opposing worldview. I had someone like Donald Trump, who I don't envy his upbringing and the fact that he can't feel love. I don't envy that. I don't think being him would be very pleasant at all. But he's been taught to be suspicious of other human beings, to assume the worst, to get in quick, screw people over before they screw you over. Now, that's a worldview I don't like adhere to. I don't think that that's going to help deal with climate change. It's going to help deal with any of these existential threats. So here's my music. I don't comment on social media because that's not a place to win a fucking argument anyway. So it's just pointless. It's just the media. I even say in Empire's Falling, it's like, you know, what's the point of reaching out when all the love gets crushed by the medium? Because that's the truth. You know, it's not, you've just got to do it face to face, or if you're lucky like me, you've got this really great rock and roll band to go, boom, there's a bit of art that sort of expresses how I'm feeling about the world, you know, like, yeah.
Man, it's so powerful, dude. It's
Oh,
and when people hear it, man, people are actually gonna really, really get it. There's another song, the Hill Song, which I absolutely love that one. That's
awesome, bro.
Is that about a certain
rugby player?
Yeah.
it's actually about Israel Folau's Instagram account, and you know, it was about reading the post where he said, you know, that gays are going to hell, and I just think for me it was more like, you've got to realize when you're a public figure that, you know, all your fans are so different, you know, and it's like there could be an aspiring, you know, young gay guy or girl or that looks up to Israel Folau for all his talent because he's a talented guy.
Yes.
And just that could destroy them, you know, like reading that from one of their heroes. I thought it was really irresponsible.
I agree.
And I just think it's 2021, man. It's just like, man, we've got to be more accepting of each other. So I think that's the closest. I mean, it's pretty, the lyrics for me are sort of pretty jokey, you know, it's actually quite more akin to my, the way I talk to somebody. It's pretty tongue in cheek, you know, but even to the point where we called it the Hill Song, you know.
But I was like, yeah, there's a connection there.
It's just that whole modern church, you know,
I'm so sick of reading about him, man. I'm so sick of ScoMo and that whole crew. Don't get me started. Don't get me, because you know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, totally.
You'd have fun.
Yeah.
But fuck.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you like that song, because that's a dense bit of rock and roll. I mean, it's interesting because like a lot of people brought that song up from different, you know, backgrounds. Someone said, you know, some people have said Rage Against the Machine, Refuse. Other people have gone Whitesnake. Other people have gone, you know, it's like depending on what their age group is, or blah, blah, blah. But they've connected it to it. But it's reminiscent, I think, of different things to them. For us, it was totally Rage Against the Machine. Daniel, it was just the whole riff, you know. But then obviously I don't sing like that dude, and so then it takes into another space, you know. So I don't think he sung about Israel Folau's Instagram account either. So
oh man, no, that's definitely it's full of bangers. It's full of bangers. Like I'm cranking it in the car, and I really enjoy it. And as I said before, it seems like it's maybe a sequel. And is it part of like a trilogy that you're working on or something? Do you feel that the next one's gonna?
It'll be an acoustic folk album. I have no idea, bro. Like honestly, for 3 years here, I was like, nah, I don't care if I write another song in my life. I'm sweet. I'm good. I've written what I thought. I'm done. These kids are my priority. That's it. Yeah. But then just the music piled up, and then the sort of bad news piled up from around the world. And it was just like, I literally, like I go back to it, so I literally need to hear music that reminds me that I'm not going insane and I'm not alone, you know, like even though I'm writing for myself, it's like, you know, it comes out of knowing that, you know, me and Tom and Carl and Phil, we're different people, but we when we talk, that's what we talk about, you know.
Yeah.
So we're pretty similar politically and sort of socially, you know, like we like people and we don't like watching. The thing I hate more than anything else is watching powerful people exploit less powerful people.
Yeah,
I think it comes from the fact that my parents were working class Londoners that sort of came over to New Zealand with £10 and had nothing and blah blah blah. I've always rooted for the underdog, and I just don't like watching powerful people screw over less powerful people in whatever form that is. I just don't like it, you know. It really grinds my gears.
Well, I mean, you guys are also going to be hitting the road in support of the album through October, and I'm keen as fuck, man. Brisbane. I know. I'm doing the same thing, but let's think it's going to happen. Positivity. But how's the planning going for it even this far out? Like, I know it's a bit tricky right now.
Shihad did actually play 2 of those new songs live at Coronet Peak in Queenstown 3 weeks ago. And it was a test case. It was 3,000 people at the bottom of a mountain with a really loud PA. And we opened with Tear Down Those Names, and it worked a treat. And you know what? I'm not sure if you've seen the video, but it's actually, even though it's as heavy as it is, it's actually a cathartic, joyous experience. It's like, and that was what the crowd was like. It was just like smiles and energy and just boom, but a real positive feeling, which was great. And then we played Little Demons towards the end of the set. Fantastic as well. So I know this music's going to work live. It's just a matter of, is Gladys going to get her shit together so that us in Victoria and you in Queensland, you know, are allowed to do what we need to do. You know, I mean, we're so used to it, you know, locking down in Victoria. It's like, we don't like it, but we know that if someone says lockdown, we everything's just closed, you know. It's just like, there's no messing around, because we know that the harder we lock down at the front, the quicker we get out of that mess, you know.
Right.
And I just think, they're sort of dropping the ball over there. It's just annoying me. It's actually depressing everybody I know in Victoria. I'm sure it's the same in Queensland, you know, like, it's just depressing.
Yeah.
Because you're just going, how long is this going to go on for, you know? The future looks grey, and everybody I know is out of work, man. Like, my industry's, the live music industry's history at the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's not just artists, that's like venue people in the bar, there's technical staff, that's booking agents, that's everyone, man. It's just really hard out there at the moment. So get vaccinated, and when someone says lockdown, fucking lockdown.
And pre-order those albums, man, and buy all the merch from all the bands. I'm pointing at somewhere.
Absolutely. Good call, man.
Another, before we go, thanks, Matt, is if you pre-order the album, you go into win one of them Fenders,
which is very similar to what I use. So it'll be pretty meaty, you know, so it'll be cool.
We'll have the links down here. Jon, thank you so much again, bro. We can't wait to see you guys on tour. Get the album now. Old Gods is out on August 27. And, mate, thank you very much.
Cheers, Nev. Awesome.